Hey everybody, welcome to 30 Ways to Happy Days. I'm Alana Yvonne with Truly Great Life, and we are at the halfway mark. Woohoo! Way 15. Wow, I am grateful we are halfway through the series. Hint, hint. Way 15 is gratitude. If you're new to this, I do encourage you to start at the beginning. Ways 1 and 2 are foundational, and but then you can kind of go in any other order from 3 on. So thanks for joining. And yeah, gratitude. Now this one has had a lot of, shall we say, airtime in forever, but especially with social emotional learning efforts in schools and just in the culture, there is a lot. You see gratitude everywhere, or at least the message of gratitude everywhere. And it is something that, we get to kind of think about in different ways. Okay, so some of us, you might be listening and think, oh God, gratitude again. Okay, I got the message, gratitude, be grateful. But what is gratitude, really? And so let's go to those definitions that I love to start with, okay? So gratitude is seeing the good. Gratitude is seeing the blessing, seeing the positive. And again, we're not encouraging here like a toxic positivity or a toxic kind of like, oh, nothing to see here, it's all good, I'm grateful for everything. Like, yeah, stuff happens. Stuff that we wish did not happen happens. So again, it's not like when the bad happens or a challenge happens, I think maybe there are some people, of course, who are just like super maybe spiritually elevated or wherever they're at in their personal journey, that they're able to see it, experience it, process it, and like get to gratitude really quickly. That is something I think many of us are not at right away. It can be a process where we come to see the good, where we come to see the blessing. To deny the pain or the difficulty, I don't know. I don't think that it necessarily gets you to gratitude sooner in a sustainable way, okay? We can ignore things or downplay things that might emerge in different ways down the road. So just taking like a more holistic, big picture kind of approach to gratitude, when things are easy, it's easy to feel grateful, right? When things are obviously, manifestly, revealed as good, revealed as a blessing, revealed as a great thing, it's easy to be like, oh, I'm so grateful, The question becomes, in terms of using this as a character strength, in terms of using this, and again, these character strengths, they're like muscles. Everybody has them. You do have it. You do have a gratitude muscle. The question is, are you aware of it? Are you using it? Is it something that you would prefer is atrophied and not used because you self-identify as someone who's not grateful? I don't know. I mean, hopefully you're grateful for something, okay? Even if it's something that, might look small to an outsider, but if there's something that you see the good, right? This is where gratitude can begin. Seeing that good, right? So gratitude it's like when you see, recognize, and appreciate that which is given to you. Whether it's, something like a gift from somebody and you're grateful and you express your thanks, right? Because nobody's in your head. No one's reading your mind. So one of the things we want to remember is to express gratitude. If you go back to the recording on love, we talked about different love languages, and one way we can express gratitude is using our words of affirmation, right? Written or otherwise. And if it feels awkward or vulnerable to say a lot of words, a simple thank you so much, I really appreciate it, doesn't need to be wordy. I tend to go wordy, but I have dear ones who do not, and it's just okay. Just say thank you, right? It's almost like manners again. ideally you feel the gratitude because you get to benefit when you feel gratitude. There are physiological benefits, there are psychological benefits when we are in a place of appreciation, of recognition and appreciation for the gifts we are given. So again, those could be physical gifts, it could be the gift of an experience, it could be a gift of awareness of a situation, or it could be a gift of awareness of the fact that things are good in a certain way. You know, there's just a gratitude for what you are given, for what is and maybe what isn't. So how do we see the good? You know, so let's start with believing that there's good out there, right? Let's start by wanting to see the good. What we put our attention on, we will see more of, right? What we focus on, it takes up more space, right? So if we're looking for proof points that things stink, you're gonna find it. We're that powerful, right? We're that resourceful that we will find ways to prove our predispositions, right? There's enough data out there, there's enough in the world that if you want to find things not to be grateful for, if you want to find things that make your case that there's nothing to be grateful for and there isn't any good to see, you will find it. So again, there is that kind of hereditary biological impulse negativity bias that we are wired to look for the negative as a means of survival. But we get to also choose to consider the possibility of looking for the good. It can be an effort. Some people are wired to see it more naturally. And maybe they annoy the heck out of you. I don't know. When you're like, if something is hard for you and someone else is like, it's all wonderful and roses, you just, that might be a struggle. I invite you to just be aware of your reaction and look at it as information. Okay? Because again, we are not just our thoughts and our feelings. That's information about maybe what's going on internally. And these ways to happier days are tools for us to reach in, keep it in your pocket, metaphorically speaking, and reach it and pull one out depending on what your day is throwing at you, or your life is throwing at you, your week, whatever it is, whether it's at work, family, friends, personal, a project you're working on, whatever it is, okay? So do things feel easier, or do things get easier when you have, the attitude of gratitude? I think that, there are plenty of proof points that yes, it's like greasing the wheels of life, like it just goes a little bit smoother. Does it make you more resilient, more able to bounce back? Are you able to pick yourself up a little easier even if you just believe that I can't see the good, but I'm going to choose to hold out to that possibility that it's going to be better or it's going to be good. And this is where the wisdom of King Solomon, right, comes in, of this too shall pass. Gam ze ya'avor, if you want to know the Hebrew. Like, it is something to, it's actually explained that, like, from what I've read, it will keep you humble. So when things are good, just be aware. Gam ze ya'avor, this also might pass. Just to keep, the appreciation there when you have it going well, and also just know that life is this. Life is not this. Maybe the trend overall, but remember, with any statistics, you got to zoom out in order to see that big picture. So hopefully you are in a place where on some level you see things overall going up to whatever that is for you, right? More engaged, more aligned with yourself, more happy days than sad days, more happy moments than sad moments, whatever it is that you want more of, in a way that is helping you be your best self. That's what all these ways are for, is what really do you want to experience, create, contribute to, have, be, do with the time that you're given. Can you be grateful for the fact that if you're listening to this, you have woken up for another day? Yay, that. And maybe that is like enough for you to look at the good and then keep that sense of wonder of like, what is this day going to bring? And maybe, it's a day that you're ready to be done with. And can you put on your glasses of gratitude to kind of like see the good, which could simply be, I got through the day, depending on what you have going on. I got through the day, and tomorrow is going to be better. God willing, I hope. Whatever language works for you, whatever lens works for you in terms of how you look at it from a, let's say, spiritual standpoint or philosophical standpoint, okay? But gratitude, okay? So one of the easy ways, if you will, easy in a relative term, is like, it's a complicated one, but like, is it easy to feel grateful when you see someone who is worse off in a way that seems obvious to you? Sure. So that's one level of like comparison. Okay, we can always go there. Like there's always, someone in maybe a more dire situation, whether it's financial or health or housing or work or relationships. But I come at it from a place of like, we're all on our own journey. So yeah, maybe that's helpful, but like, that saying like, in the end, the race is with yourself, right? In the end, it's still about you. So we want to get to a place where we're not always looking outside of ourselves to get validation or affirmation. Certainly not validation, affirmation maybe, but where are you looking to feel grateful? So something, that you might want to consider is like how much of your gratitude is based on comparing to other people. And then what happens when you look at people who you decide have more than you, or better health than you, or different resources than you? Is that setting you up for failure, if you will, or for feeling less grateful because they have more, or they have different, or they're experiencing this and I'm stuck doing X, Y? So when we compare, it's harder to maybe feel grateful on like a fundamental basic level, because when we are grateful, we see the great, we feel the great that we do have. And if that means like, I got up today, I am breathing today, my body is functioning at the level my body can function today, there's a good word I can share with somebody, there's work I can do, there's a contribution I can make. Gratitude is seeing what you've gotten from outside yourself. We can be grateful for ourselves, we can be grateful for what we have, but gratitude is really like where you are thankful for what has been given to you from an experience, from Mother Nature, from the universe, from God, whatever, from your job, from another human being. So how do we express it? So one of the oldest ways of giving thanks, right, is blessings and prayers and all kinds of things, historically that human beings have been doing to give thanks. Okay, so we get to give thanks over, and not just on Thanksgiving if you're in this country, right? Which now that in itself is now a complicated holiday, but this idea of giving thanks, saying thank you, and if that's something that for whatever reason you're tripping up on this idea of expressing it because you maybe associate it with like a weakness or I deserve it, so what do I need to thank him for, or whatever it is, it's a way of having better interpersonal relations. And if that's something that you want, it makes it more pleasant. We talked before, and again, love, like we can have these micro moments of love, these interactions with people that we maybe have no relationship with other than a transaction in a store or a coffee shop or on the phone with customer service or whatever you have going on. But when we are kind and grateful and we say thank you for their help, thank you for their patience, thank you for their assistance, there are feelings, positive emotions that get generated. It feels nice to be thanked, right? Think about how you feel when someone expresses gratitude and appreciation for you, or for something you've done, or for something you've enabled to be done, or something you've contributed to. That recognition, that being seen for what you've done, not in like an egotistical hubris way, right? Just like it feels good to be recognized. Some people stop doing things if they don't get the recognition, right? Some people at some point get fed up because there was no gratitude there. right? So gratitude, it's like it circulates, and it makes it easier for human beings to cooperate with each other. And I would say that, just because we're all human, we can be grateful of our interactions with each other when they're pleasant, right? So, things to be grateful for. I got from point A to point B in my car. It was smooth sailing. No, God forbid, accidents. Like, I'm grateful, right? What are things that might seem silly that you can be grateful for? Okay? What is something that you can be grateful for right now? Who are you grateful for? So if you want, take out a piece of paper or just in your head, name 10 people or 10, if you have pets, right? Who are you grateful for? What are you grateful for? How can you share that gratitude with those people? Or if it's a pet or an animal or something like that, like how can you express thanks to, them? So, an easy one is if you have a pet, you pet them. Pet the pet. I'm gonna have to look up if that's actually like if there's a thing there about pet and pet. Anyways, so my dog, unconditional love, and I am grateful for my sweet dog. And we can have a discussion about whether or not he understands when I tell him how much I love him and I appreciate him and he makes me happy. But the petting, that physical, I guess you could say like his love language is physical touch, if we want to talk about that for animals. So again, where can you bring gratitude as an experiment in your day? How can you take it up a notch if you're already like, oh, gratitude, easy. Like this is a go-to strength for me. I'm grateful all day long. Okay, how could you bring gratitude into a different area of your life that maybe you haven't expressed as much gratitude, right? And again, we want to read the room, right? Who are you communicating with? How open, where do they seem, where are they at? Being sensitive to where another person is, that's related to social intelligence. And we spoke about that one as well. So gratitude is, it's great. So again, what are you grateful for in your own little, circle? Those that you see on a regular basis. What are you grateful for that in yourself? In those external circles, those concentric circles going out, those connections. And then on a bigger level, right? Can you be grateful if you have electricity? Can you be grateful if you have enough money to pay your bills at the end of the month? Can you be grateful if you are a student and you have this gift of time to learn something that hopefully you're interested in? Or if you have a job, can you be grateful that you're able to contribute in whatever dimension or whatever fashion your job is, and that you're getting some kind of compensation for it, which maybe gives you the ability to do other things. Maybe it enables you to take a vacation or to do, charity works, whatever. Can you be grateful for it, and can you see the connections of what it is that you're grateful for and how it enables lots of good stuff to happen, perhaps, okay? Can you be grateful for where you live? Can you be grateful for the things that make it possible for you to live at, hopefully you're living in a comfortable, safe environment. Can you be grateful for that? We live in interesting times, and there's a lot of things that, we can complain about. And part of the challenge with gratitude is if we want to focus on, that it's not perfect or it's not as good as it should be, right? What is the should in your life that is keeping you from expressing gratitude and appreciation for what you do have? And it's not to say don't work on that state or condition or thing that you think should be, but can you also make space for the possibility that what you have is good enough, or that what you're doing is good enough? Like, if your standard becomes perfection, it will never be good enough, likely, because again, we are fallible human beings working together, hopefully harmoniously more often than not. Can you be grateful for the relative goodness, even if it's not perfect? In whatever that is for you, personally, professionally. when, for me personally, when I look at things as it's good enough, then it's like I'm able to move on into whatever is next a little easier. I like good enough. Now, we talked before about, appreciation of beauty and excellence. That does not mean it has to be perfection, right? And so for some people, it might be anything less than an A+ is not good enough, right? I'm just thinking, if you are in school or you have kids in school, like what are you communicating as far as standards that you want to be achieved? Can you see the good that may be not reflected, let's say, in grades? Can you be grateful for the fact that maybe your kid is healthy and getting up every day and going to school? And if your kid is having challenges and is not able to go to school, what else can you be grateful for in the situation, even while you're maybe working with them to help them in whatever their situation is? There's a lot of complicated things going on for all of us. What is the good enough mark for you in your various life roles, areas of your life? What would good enough look like? Can you be grateful and see the good in the good enough? Because again, it's baby steps to where we want to go. Okay? It's baby steps. And can we be grateful for the time that we have to work on these things that matter to us? And can we be grateful for the tools that we are given and the resources that we are given? And focusing on how can I maximize the opportunity presented here with what I have? And can that be good enough for right now? So, it's really, what is the phrase? The perfect is the enemy of the good. So can we be grateful for the good that you do have? And write it down. And when you get frustrated with something that you feel is not good enough, can you go back to that list of the things that there are to have hope that it is, there's stuff to see that is good, to be grateful for, to appreciate. Okay. So again, this way number 15, halfway mark through the 30 ways, is gratitude. I'm grateful. I mentioned earlier, I have a love-hate with technology, but I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful that it enables me to record this, put it out there, reach some of you, hopefully give you food for thought, to make your day a happier one, to look at things maybe a little bit differently. And if you knew all this already, awesome. And maybe this is just like a reinforcement of what you already know. And if you know more, then please go share it with somebody, because there's a lot of distractions. There are a lot of things that detract us and distract us from seeing the good. So it's an effort and it's a practice, and you gotta want it. So if you want to be a person who feels more gratitude, who expresses more gratitude, who demonstrates and models for others how to give thanks and receive thanks, because there's also the receiving of appreciation graciously, right? Let's play in this together. Let's try and make this a place, a world in your own little sphere of influence, whatever that is, for seeing the good. And may it be so. Okay. Thank you again, and see you next time for way number 16.